Alright guys, welcome to the video on graphing parabolas in Vertex form. First we're just going to do a recap of what is a quadratic equation and what is a parabola. So a quadratic equation is any equation whose degree is 2, and this means that the highest power is 2. So an example would be like y equals 3x squared minus 4x plus 9. That could be an example because the degree is 2. The highest power is 2. That is called a quadratic equation. Now, parabola is just the graph. So when a quadratic equation is graphed, its graph looks like the letter U. And the word for that is a parabola. A parabola is the graph of a quadratic equation. Always looks like a U. Now, sometimes it's upside down, but it still looks like a U. All right, let's talk about some important features that every parabola has. It always has a turning point, which is the vertex. So the vertex is the turning point, and that would be right here, and you want to write it as an ordered pair. So the vertex would be 1, negative 4. Every parabola also has a line of symmetry. So if you were to draw an imaginary line that cuts the parabola exactly down the middle, what is the equation of this line? Well, it's a vertical line, so Vux, x equals, and notice it goes through 1. So x equals 1. And then we also look for a y-intercept. The y-intercept is where the graph crosses the y-axis, and it looks like that's right here at negative 3. If you want to write it as an ordered pair, 0, negative 3, that's fine too. Okay, why don't you guys pause and try this one, and then I'll go over that one. So the vertex is the turning point, and that's right here. And the ordered pair is 2, 1. The line of symmetry cuts it right down the middle. And since it's a vertical line, it's Vux, x equals, and notice it crosses x equals 2. So it's the line x equals 2. And the y-intercept is where the graph crosses the y-axis, and that's happening right here at negative 3. Again, if you want, you could write it as an ordered pair, 0, negative 3. Also, it's not always negative 3. It just was random. Okay, now let's get into the real lesson, which is vertex form of a parabola. Y equals a times x minus h squared plus k. And you should have learned in Desmos today that the vertex is the hk. The line of symmetry actually always ends up being h. So it's the vertical line x equals h. And the y-intercept is what you get when you plug in 0 for x. Plug in 0 for x. Okay, so the vertex is h and k. The line of symmetry is always h. And the y-intercept, you plug in 0 for x. All right, let's try some. So here's your equation in vertex form. First thing is, what is the vertex? Now remember in Desmos we said whatever the h is, it's always opposite of what it looks like in the formula because of that minus sign. So if it says x minus 1, it's actually going to be positive 1. It's always opposite. Now the k, since it's positive, it is what it is. So if it says positive 3, it stays positive 3. So we should probably write that down, that the h is always opposite its sign in the equation, and the k is the same. All right, the line of symmetry is always x equals, and it's always the h value. So x equals 1. And for the y-intercept, you have to plug in 0 for x. So I will pull out my calculator here, and we're going to plug in 0 for x. Okay, so see, I just copied the equation. I plugged in 0 for x. We get 5. So the y-intercept is at 5. If you want to write it as an ordered pair, it would be 0, 5. All right, now let's sketch a graph. So the vertex is at 1, 3. The line of symmetry is an imaginary vertical line that goes through that point. The y-intercept is at 0, 5. And then, this is the cool part, because of symmetry, you guys get an automatic free point on the other side of the line of symmetry from the y-intercept. So however far it is away, there's going to be another point on the other side, the same distance away. And that's all you guys need. 3 points is enough to make a U. That's how you graph a parabola in vertex form. All right, let's try one more from scratch though. Number 2. Vertex, H, K. Remember, the H is always opposite of what it looks like here. So it's -2, comma. The K is the same, so -1. -2, -1. The line of symmetry is x equals whatever the H was, so -2. And the y-intercept, we plug in 0. So it's -1 times 0 plus 2 squared minus 1. And I got -5. And if you want to write it as an ordered pair, it's 0, -5. All right, let's graph this parabola. We've got a vertex at -2, -1. We've got the line of symmetry cutting that down the middle. The y-intercept is at 0, -5. And remember, we get a free symmetry point. So if this one's 2 away from the line of symmetry, there's got to be another one 2 away on the other side. And like we said, 3 points is enough to make a U, and that is your parabola. All right, so this is called graphing parabolas in vertex form. Nice job.